left-wing Kingz. Listen, think, act, repeat.
This year's Democratic National Convention was packed with memorable speeches, historic announcements, and some powerful performances as well. So I thought we'd go ahead and recap the top 5 moments of the 2024 Democratic National Convention. And we're going to start off with moment number 1, which is the Democratic Delegate Roll Call. Now, this was a groundbreaking moment, man. I was up dancing, clapping my hands, all kind of shit. Now, it was met with thunderous applause, dancing, and several celebrity appearances happened during this thing. It was fire. Now, Ace, what was your biggest takeaway from that roll call?
You know, it was amazing. But shout out to hip hop, man. Hip hop is growing up, man. And what I mean by that is like, you know, what I was thinking when I was playing is like they merged hip hop and hip hop artists with those states was just dope. Like, you know, when they called Michigan, they dropped, you know, "Lose Yourself" by Eminem. You know what I'm saying? They when they hit the California, they were playing "California Love." You know what I'm saying? New York, they played Jay-Z New York, and that's a big shout out for a music genre just as old as me. You know what I'm saying? Like it's my music. You know what I'm saying? So to see that, man, was awesome, and just from the DNC definitely making themselves eons away from what the RNC was. Like, you know, God. Yeah, you know, I mean, it was alive. It was pumping. You wanted to be there. You know, I'm trying to get there next year. You know what I'm saying? You want
to miss that concert?
Like, I don't want to miss the concert.
Right.
Like, I'm excited what's going to happen next year. I was going to say, man, if they would have dropped UGK when Texas came out, I was going to be done.
I don't think they would have been able to get everybody back.
They ain't ready. But they would have did it though, man. I mean, we sure puts the whole bunch of people off, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So
they'd have lost the whole crowd, man. People they would have, you know, especially they would have dropped "I Choose You" or something like that. They had to let Pimp's verse go, man.
I choose you.
They gotta let Pimp's verse go, man. We're going up for Pimp, man.
They could have dropped the cocaine in the back of the ride,
right.
Something.
Diamonds up against that.
God.
You know,
that would have been some shit right there, boy.
But I mean, you know, and shout out to DJ Cassidy, man. You know,
no doubt.
You know, did his thing, man. And I mean, and I also like the fact that, you know, it was regional conscience. Like, he wasn't dropping the hardcore hip hop beats when he called like West Virginia and Kentucky. You know, he slid in some bluegrass, Mississippi.
He was all over the map, man. He did it. He did his thing.
Yeah. He put everything in the right perspective, man. And I think that's what made it fit. You know what I'm saying? It was like, and I want to say with Texas, a little country twang with it. Well, hey, we're in Texas, man. That's what it's supposed to be like. So, I really enjoyed that, man. That roll call, and then, you know, pulling out the celebrities, you know, and, you know, a lot of people talk about Little John, but what threw me a loop when they dug out Sean Astin. Like, I was like, you know, for Indiana, and he shot out like, yeah, you know, I played Rudy, and I was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, Notre Dame, that was dope, man. You know what I'm saying? So that little twist, man, just brought a breath of fresh air, man, to that convention that's really, you know, doing a couple of things, man, just trying to really, you know, make people happy and feel good about, you know, voting and getting excited about that. But also, I think that was a direct aim at young voters and youth and have them interested. So that was a dope strategy.
It actually spanned like multi-generational, because the songs were, like you said, they were diverse. They represented each state and genre of music. So what were your thoughts, man?
I was gonna say, I love the diverse perspectives of just the people in itself. Like, you have people of all nationalities, you know, colors, creeds. I mean, they were represented and strong. I mean, it felt genuine. Like, and then everybody was having, I mean, they were electrified. They were having a good time. Like, you saw, like, when they panned into the audience, you saw people like vibing and dancing and really getting into it. It just felt, like you said, like it felt like a concert. It felt like something you wanted to be involved in. It didn't feel fake. It didn't feel disingenuous, man. It felt real, and that's what, you know. Again, that's what you want. You want to see, you know, people. You know, I didn't feel like anyone, and there might have been, but it didn't feel like there was people hired to do that. Like, it felt even if they were doing a job, they were there. They were really behind what they were doing.
And
that's the point I want to make. It just didn't feel like, okay, I'm a higher black person here, just here to cover this. Like, no, it didn't look like
Blacks
that.
for Trump. Holding up
it didn't look nothing crazy.
Holding up the upside down sign. And shit. Blacks for Trump.
It just didn't look fake, man. And that's what I enjoyed about it.
Hey, man. So there was another moment that we want to get to, and that's moment number 2 when you talk about black folks doing their thing. Michelle Obama did the damn thing. I mean, and on many different levels. So the former First Lady delivered a powerful and emotional address emphasizing the importance of unity, the need to protect democracy. And she even took a few jabs at your boy, Donald Trump. Not your boy, but I'm just trying to get under your skin.
We from the hood. We know what you mean. We from the hood. Shit. You ain't got to explain that.
Oh, shit. So, Dr. B, what about Michelle's speech impressed you the most?
God, I wish she would run for president. Because, and I know I shouldn't, but she's just so, it's like, when she speaks, it's like your auntie talking to you. It's like your grandmother talking to you, your mom talking. It's so. But I say your auntie first because it's like your auntie's the one that's unfiltered. She's like she's kind of raising you, but she's not the one that has to raise you. So she's just gonna say whatever's off the cusp with what she feels. Because my auntie,
she got that uncle energy, you
right?
know what I'm saying? Auntie and uncle energy.
The auntie and uncle energy is different.
Like I love you, but I truly don't give a fuck about you. So, you know what I'm saying? So, but I love you though. You know what I'm saying? Got that auntie
like,
uncle energy.
I cut for you, but I don't cut for you.
You go out there and bust your head, nigga. That's on you. Dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut you off with the quickness. But that's what I love about it, man, because she did. She touched on the right things. She said exactly what she felt. And that's why I said the affirmative action to general wealth. When she said that, I was like, whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Because everybody talk about affirmative action, but it's like, if you had a head start in that where you was getting the hand-me-downs and all that stuff, you were able to build that generational wealth.
Oh, yeah, she came with them on that one.
Yeah, stop it. Let's stop all that. Yeah. And so she just, man. And then she was, she even talked about it. It's like when you have a chance, some of us don't get the opportunity to make those mistakes.
That's right.
But when it's a lot easier to say those kind of things when lift yourself up by your bootstraps when you get 4 or 5 different times to fail. Here's another $1 million to fail. Here's another, couple $100,000. Yeah. Well, it's a lot easier to say that kind of stuff when everybody else, I got to stretch 100. If you ain't, I don't even say $100. What's the name say? Some Beyonce says, problems happen when you got millions of dollars in the escalator, and then Cedric Entertainer said, "Well, shoot, I know some things that happen when it's $30 in the escalator."
Yeah,
and I laugh about that because I think about that. It's like when you have to fight over things like that, and we've all been there where it's like, I can't even stretch $30. I'm calling up. There's people I cut off for less. I'm like, I gotta cut them off for a couple dollars.
I'm trying to make gas money till next week now. What are you talking about? We're fighting them battles today. You know what I'm saying?
So, shit. The margin of error. It's like we don't have that opportunity. Exactly. I just love that when she so eloquently, man, when she touched on it, she really addressed that situation. And like I said, man, she starts speaking and you just feel so comfortable.
Yes.
I'm gonna take a little further than that. What Michelle Obama do? Michelle Obama has the unique talent of saying what we think and being able to do it educational wise, and come over eloquently with it. Like everything I think, like she said the part about Trump being intimidated by too educated black people, and I would have just like I've been saying that shit. I ain't said it that smooth. You know what I'm saying? Like he's scared of black folks. You know what I'm saying? That's basically said, especially if they're educated, and she said that across the point to where everybody could kind of understand it and kind of get it. You know what I mean? Like Michelle Obama's always been a beast, will always be a beast. And that's the number one reason people don't like the Obamas in the first place. Because you can't touch them.
Nope.
Ain't nothing you can say about them.
Well, they can say everything they want to, but it ain't bullshit. Real.
Just like she said. Like she said, we've been the victim of this and the victim of that, but politically, they're just on another level than any of the politicians. You come look at, they came after Bush, and we know Bush was a hot mess. Yeah. And I always said this, now people, because I've been paying attention to politics for a while. Bush was a mess. People forget about that. When Obama came out in 2008, he practically had to save the company. Yeah. The problem is Trump's a bigger mess. You know what I'm saying? So we never forgot about Bush. Like Bush, we wish we had Bush back. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and the Obamas are kind of latched to both of them, right in between both of them, man. So, when she came out, man, with them arms out, you know what I'm saying? She was ready. You know
Yeah.
what
She
I'm
was
saying?
ready, man.
With that ponytail.
Yeah.
She was ready, and she did her thing, man. So yeah, when the black jobs hit, come on. Man.
Ah,
She said, that's a black. Oh, that was my.
Yeah,
that-
he
that
trying
hit.
to get a black job. Don't he
Yeah.
not understand that?
Yeah. Well, somebody tell him he's trying to get the job
Wanna
he's
know-
going for is a black job.
Yes, indeed.
And like you said, she said like your auntie would say. You know what I'm saying? She
Yeah.
didn't pretty it up or anything. So yeah, no, that was powerful.
Unfiltered, unapologetic, all of it. I
Yeah,
love it.
man. I think that one of the things that just tells you right now that her speech was powerful and her speech was like just I can't even call it, man. Her speech resonated with everyone in that room and everyone across the world the way that she did it. And you know that because one of the best speakers of our time, of our generation, that we were alive, went up there and said, I have to follow this.
Yeah.
Barack Obama went up there and said, damn, I got to follow that?
Right.
That tells you just within itself how powerful her speech was. And something else that's powerful is the like button. So
Yep,
why don't
yep.
your ass click it and also subscribe to Left Wing Kingz so that you can see more content like this every single week. And make sure that you share our content on all of your social media
Yes,
platforms.
Tell
Indeed.
somebody. Tell somebody.
All right, tell your auntie. so
Do
she can tell
something like
somebody.
Michelle Obama said. Do something. Don't
Do
complain.
something.
Do something.
Something.
You damn Skippy. So, somebody else that got up there on stage and really had a strong message and really was vulnerable in a moment was Hadley Duvall.
Yeah.
So, 22-year-old Hadley Duvall explained how her stepfather raped her when she was 12 and she became pregnant with his child. Now, she was able to have an abortion because it was before all of the stuff that happened right now, but her story in itself just silenced the United Center, and what she was saying was felt throughout the country for several days. So, Ace, what made Hadley's speech so powerful?
Oh shoot, man! When she dropped that one line and she said, I couldn't imagine having my parents' child. Yeah. I think that shook everybody up. You know what I'm saying? That's chilling to say right now. You know what I'm saying? But that's always been the and I can understand when people kind of sometimes say abortion, they try to go biblical with it, but like I don't understand when people be like, no, you can't abort anything, like rape, incest, like who's rooting for that, man? You know what I'm saying? Like
Crazy.
That's
huh?
crazy.
you know what I'm saying? Like, and I know some people got their beliefs or whatever and about abortion, but come on, man. Like, and a lot of that, a lot of that's happening. You know what I'm saying? That's the sad part about it, man, is that. So I just don't get it. But yeah, I think she shook everybody. She shook up the world when she dropped that line right there, man. That was
Yeah.
touching.
Yeah, I always, it's always one of those moments where it sucks the life out of the party in a sense, but not intentionally. It's like they're telling the story, right, and they're telling you, the thing that they went through, and it kind of pales in comparison to the things. Sometimes we need those stories because we live our life and we always feel like, man, I had it the hardest, I had it rough, I had this, and then you hear someone else's journey in the flight and you go, wow, maybe it's not a little, it wasn't that bad, it wasn't as hard as that, and it's that that thing, and to your point, I don't know, I could never imagine, and you just shouts out to her for being vulnerable enough to share that, because that's tough, man. It's just tough being in a situation where and I don't agree with when people make those types of choices of saying people don't have a choice. I feel like if I can open up and say, hey, I think people should have a choice, knowing like I mean, I'll be a little vulnerable with you guys, and I've never shared this in anything public, but I told you I was number 6. I was a child, my mom was going through a divorce, and her dear friend stopped her from getting an abortion with me.
Wow.
And so so shout out to Edwardina. That's who I'm named after. And rest in peace to her. She's like she was my mother on earth, and I said my angel in heaven now, because she was that person who, that friend, that said, hey, no, don't take that easy road out. Now my mom had every right to make make whatever choice she wanted to make. Right. And I stand by that. Like I do feel like, extreme circumstances or any of those kind of things, like, we got to give people that, those, allow them to make the choices that they need to make in those particular situations. So it's a tough road. It's tough, when people have to, speak about those kind of things and make those kind of decisions. But considering what she had gone through, I mean, I don't know how she would have been able to do it, have the child otherwise.
Crazy. Hey, what I will say is this: two things, man, and I think they are kind of connected. Is that people say all the time, well, you got to have an exception for rape and incest. You got to have an exception for rape and incest, but it don't hit like somebody up there who went through it.
Right. Yeah.
To your point, who had it happen, and they had incest and rape.
I mean, serious.
Happened to them, and they had to deal with it. They had to make that decision. When it becomes real, right, it's different than us just having political differences and having conversations about it.
Yeah.
And the second piece is when someone like yourself says, I believe in choice, but you were at risk of not even being here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Your mother's choice could have been, like, we could have never had an Eddie B, right? We could have never had a Dr. B. You might have never had your kids. All of this shit. You know what I'm saying? But you still believe in choice, even though you might not be here today.
And that's why I think it's important to share that because I think sometimes people get it twisted. They think like, but it's a lot easier to scream something and say things when you don't have context, when it's not impacting you.
Right.
But once that thing comes in your neighborhood and now you're having to deal with it, and the worst thing I did was download the Nextdoor app, and I'm like seeing all the stuff that's happening in my neighborhood. I'm
I can't stand these neighborhood apps. But anyway, that's
what are
all
y'all
another
doing?
conversation.
But
You got an app? Well, people look at you.
Yeah,
they
look at you. They just talk about stuff like, hey, this, that, and the other. They talk about their opinion. They talk about.
Oh,
yeah, it's
You
like
just find out who your neighbors are.
oh, that's
Right.
Karen's app.
It's crazy. But I bring that up because the minute you start finding out things that's happening around you, everybody has something to weigh in, especially when it doesn't impact you and it's not happening around you. It's like it's easy to say,
Everybody got their
I live on the north side. It's easy to talk about the east side and the west side and the south side. But the minute that, now it's starting to look a little funny on the other side of town, well, wait a minute, hold on, time out, and it's, it's in your backyard. And so again, I share that because we still got to allow people, if somebody's not in the right capacity or they can't, it's not always incest or rape or something. Sometimes it's situations where, how am I going to feed my other 5 kids?
Exactly.
And I gotta, I don't know how I really don't know how I'm going through this. I don't know if I can, I wasn't expecting having another, I don't know how this is going to work. Now we can look back now and I'm very thankful.
Oh yeah.
But I understand.
Right.
If it went the other way, it's just that quick, Those are the kind of situations where we don't talk enough about. We don't understand that people are dealing with things.
Yeah.
Well, we ain't got the next door neighbor app in the hood. We got Shonda Godley. Shonda Godley let us know what's going on with everybody.
It's real
on the west side.
It's real time.
Oh, shit.
That's what we got.
I thought you were gonna say it's real time. We see the bullets flying. We don't need.
I'm older now. I ain't in them streets like
No,
that.
y'all. I'm about to say no.
I'm talking about now. I ain't talking about back then.
Yeah, back then. Yeah.
Yeah, but politically, man, let's talk about just abortion on a whole, man. I just think that's powerful, man, because I think end of the day, this election is gonna come down to how the women vote turns out, and I think a lot of people, the sad part about the reality of this world is a lot of women have faced rape or almost got raped.
Yep.
So the threat of them thinking about abortion is real. Like, I get raped by somebody and get pregnant, I probably don't want to have that baby. Or at least want to have a choice not to.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that's where it goes. So I think that her speech spoke powerful to that. I think it spoke volumes. And I think it's going to, I think it's all said and done, it's going to move a lot of women and determine who they want to vote for when they talk about this election.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, an adjudicated rapist is Donald Trump. And
speaking of rape, you know what I'm saying?
And speaking of adjudicated rapists, Donald Trump, they played a video. This is moment number 4. They played a January 6th video, which basically it offered disturbing scenes of people invading the Capitol and injuring police officers. And at the same time, there were remarks from Donald Trump playing in the background while all of this other stuff was happening. So it included things like him saying he was going to pardon the people who were charged with the crimes and yada, yada, yada. So, Dr. B, what impact would a video like this have on independent voters or those who might be on the fence?
Well, we know. I'm going to say this. Unfortunately, it's probably not going to impact anybody who has already made up their mind and
not
has
Trump
decided.
voters. They ride with.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to ride with, till the wheels fall off, down like four flats.
Yes, sir.
I think when you look at people who are kind of in the middle, and I to be honest, in full transparency, I consider myself someone who's in the middle who looks at things like, okay, well, what about humanity? Like, what are we looking at holistically? Are we taking a utilitarianism approach as far as like, are we making decisions that's for the betterment of everybody, right?
He said about 4 big ass words real quick. See that shit?
Well, let's get out our dictionaries.
Yeah.
God damn.
Utilitarianism.
Bringing all these doctors on here. I can say it, but I can't spell it. The hell?
I didn't do that.
I'm still
on
trying to figure out what the hell he said.
Oh, well,
Don't tell.
My bad.
he messing with you, man.
Yeah, I know you know. Come on, stop it. Yeah, the point I'm trying to make, you made me lose my point. I look at things from the standpoint of like, what are we doing to help each other and all people? Like, are we making decisions? The leader that's going to be in place. I mean, I got my PhD in leadership, and so I'm really looking at it from that lens of just like, are you making decisions that's going to include everybody? People that look like me, people that don't look like me,
Right.
People that have different sexual preferences. I've come to a place where I'm just at a place where we say it, and now I'm really starting to try to live it to where let God judge people. Why am I judging you and what you're doing? Let me focus on what I'm doing, and so I want somebody who's going to take our considerations and do what's best for us as a people and move us forward.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that just in full transparency that Joe Biden did drop out, because I felt like he wasn't capable to I was starting to feel bad because I know I feel like something's wrong. I don't want to derail the conversation, but I feel like Kamala is the next person up, and I think she's more than qualified to lead.
No doubt.
I think she has the capability. I think it's going to come down to again, with the videos and the things that we're seeing. I think people are going to have to make informed decisions based on how they feel, what their moral compass is and how they feel. Michelle alluded to that as well.
Yeah.
If you have a moral compass and you know in your heart of hearts how you feel and certain things, man, that's just not right.
Yeah.
You need to make a informed decision based on how what you're seeing and how you feel.
Exactly.
So if you're somebody who's independent or maybe on a Democratic and on the left and you're seeing these different things, I would hope that you're making decisions based on that moral compass. And I would even say that for the people on the right, like, hey, make sure you're making an informed decision on what you're seeing, because at the end of the day, everything's funny, like again, the social media aspect of all this stuff, it's all fun and games until none of this is here anymore. And now, now we divert back 300 years and for my concern has always been, this is chess, man. We're not playing checkers. This is chess. And you got countries like North Korea out there, Russia, and some of these they're looking China. They're looking at us, and they want there to be another civil war. They want crazy to go on because it's chess.
Yeah.
Let them take each other out, and then we squeeze on in, and then we're all in chains, and we're all
Exactly.
Yeah, no, you speaking toward it, man. I mean, we talk about it on this show every week, man. I mean, I think there's an aspect of people out here that it's a game to them. It's a I want to be right game, or I'm backing this, and they're not looking at it on how it's going to affect not only them but other people. You know what I'm saying? From day one, I've been saying the problem with Donald Trump, and he's got his issues or problems. Number one, he can't govern. The one thing we need him to do as a president is to govern, to be able to make some decisions for everybody that's going to pay off. He proved that in COVID. He can't do that. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have the capability. So why would you want to put somebody in position that can't do that? You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of just intelligent people that I think got caught up into the social media arguments and now trying to prove the fact that they want to be right, or they put their foot in their mouth and they don't want to back up from it. But it's not a game.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Project 2025 is not a game.
It's not a game.
He's wrote down what he's going to do. He's wrote down the kind of power that he wants. He wrote down the things he's going to take away. And it was funny because right when I looked at the DNC, I have a bad habit of changing over to Fox. Just to see what these people are going to say. I don't want to call them out their name, but just see what they're going to say. And their perspective on everything he says is that he's joking. Oh man, he's just joking at that. He said that. I don't know why they can't take a joke. He's just being funny. You know,
That ain't funny.
You know what I'm saying? He Project 2025. He don't really know those people.
Well, he knows all of them.
What's she say? I'm presidential.
You know, exactly.
You know,
he's just doing things, like I said, and saying things that he actually means, and they're honestly pushing the propaganda that, oh, it's just a joke. He doesn't mean that or whatever.
Yeah.
So
it's unpresidential, and it was a moment where that was said in the DNC in Michelle's speech, and that was part of that power, man, of just calling certain things out. I think that every now and then you do need that disruptive force, though, because I feel like we get so complacent, and so I think that's what when I look at Donald Trump's legacy as far as leading, he's providing that disruption. He's putting people on their toes, and if you think about it, I mean, look how many people have been engaged in this now. Like, it's become a thing where everybody's so engaged in understanding politics more than what it was maybe. I mean, 20 years ago, I didn't care about politics like
Exactly.
That was and I probably should have been.
yeah, I mean, I was gonna say Osama bin Laden was disruptive. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
but I feel like there's key moments in history, and I try. We've gotten away from recognizing the power of debate, recognizing the power of having healthy debate and having a healthy challenge and having that dialogue and going back and forth. Because there's things that we can sit in this room and as black males, we're going to agree with, right? Wholeheartedly, because it's things that we've experienced. It's, black jobs and all those different things. When we hear certain things that's being said, we're going, yep, I've been there. I understand that. I have a time or two, and you don't understand what it feels like if I'm talking with somebody about getting pulled over, and in the black male experience, we like, oh, well, we know what, right away, we can't joke about it the same way maybe some of our counterparts might. Oh, I just argued with them, got a ticket. And we sitting there going, oh, I remember having to talk about warrants or maybe getting arrested or, different things that went on where I was in the passenger seat. I didn't even have nothing to do with what was going on, where we all have that experience, right? To where it's going to hit us a little different where, hey, I ain't laughing. Well, I ain't laughing. It ain't funny.
It ain't funny.
It ain't funny to me because that experience was real. I'm sharing that because when I look at certain things, when you talk with, my thing is like our ability to be able to agree to disagree or just have conversations. Like there's certain words that you might have noticed something. I haven't said the N word today. But it's not because I didn't say it in my past. It's well documented. I have been on songs and all kinds of things. But I started I started informing myself and listening and understanding. And there's certain things that I try to step back from doing. Not because I don't think I'm better than anybody. It's none of those things. It's just I look at certain things and I tell myself, okay, I'm growing up, I'm maturing. There's a certain way I want to start carrying myself. There's certain things I want to start doing. There's certain things I want to be informed about. I'm never going to tell someone else, hey, don't do this, don't do that, because it's like, my little brother, for example, he, at one point, he might want to smoke or drink or do something like that. I don't do that. And I was big brother, right? Tell him, hey, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. Then I was in his house one day trying to tell him not to do something in his house. And when he said something to me, it hit me. Oh yeah, you pay the bills here. It's you. I can't, what am I?
Yeah, who am I?
What am I talking about?
Yeah.
And so that's those teachable moments, where I listen to other people, and I'm the type of person that when I see people on my feet, I don't disfriend anybody. I'm not going to cut off people that I know are Trump friends. I'm not even going to stop interacting with you because at some point we're going to have a healthy dialogue. But my only ask is that you be comfortable. If you can dish whatever you can dish, be comfortable in receiving.
Exactly.
Be ready. We can laugh and talk about whatever, but we're going to have a conversation.
Yep, sure enough.
I
think that what you're talking about too just made me think about, like you said, like I think that as a people, you said we have lost the ability to like debate. People don't, and this is like for me, I got my master's in organizational leadership. I know you got your PhD in organizational leadership. I'm next on deck.
Let's go.
Okay,
let's go.
It's free. Like you said, we work at a place where we get education for free, so there ain't no reason. Unless time is the only thing that's stopping me.
Time.
So I got plenty of that. But anyway, as somebody who has a master's in organizational leadership, one of the things that I always talk about is we need to be able to have, conversations with one another, but not only listen. And you talked about listening, but we need to be able to listen to understand. People don't listen to understand no more. They listen for their turn to talk. Mm-hmm. And you can see it in social media. You could read somebody say something, but you're not really absorbing their message and coming from their perspective and trying to understand their point of view. All you thinking about is what I'm gonna say back. That was stupid, and I'm gonna say this. Back. Yeah, I got the comeback for that. Blah blah blah. That's all we think about. It's the comeback. We never try to have a conversation where we're actually engaged in the understanding part, and that's something that's critical for us to be even able to continue down the path of success, like our country has been. Because eventually, all of this butting the heads, like you said, we playing chess. You're gonna open up a door for opportunity. For Ace talks about this all the time. Those other countries out there who do not have our best interest at heart to step through that door and cause something to us. So speech and conversation is vital. And that leads me to moment number 5, Kamala Harris's speech. Mm-hmm. So Kamala Harris, basically the whole night, the theme was freedom. And she followed that up with her fight for freedom, which she eloquently tied to a lot of the things that she wants to take care of as president, like health care, reproductive rights, home ownership, all kind of stuff. So Ace, how did Kamala's speech improve her chances to earn enough votes to become our next president?
I think what Kamala did, I mean, one, she looked very presidential up there when she went up there and did that. But I think what she did, for the most part, the most simplified part, is she laid down and told everybody what she wants to do. Yep. It's not a question about it. It ain't a what if. Not only did she tell you, she's laying down the plans to do it. Yep. Other than her counterpart is just saying things like, I think that thing is no tax on tips or something like that, which I don't know what that's supposed to do for people other than if you're a waiter. And maybe that might do something. But basically what I'm saying is they laid out a full-scale plan to where if you're looking at it and you want to know what she wants to do, and you want to know what your vote's going to get, she's laid out a real thorough plan and introduced herself to you and who she is, and put it to the point of, this is mine. A lot of people are trying to talk about, well, she's just going to roll out what Biden's going to do and blah, blah, blah. Just continue it. She laid it out to this plan that's going to be hers. So I think that bettered her chances. And anytime I look at the DNC or the RNC, those are really showcasing to the base. Mm-hmm. They're actually trying to chase the independents, people in the middle of the road, and I claim myself to be an independent. So I think that affected her in that case more with them. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm trying to do. This is how I differ from the other guy. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And I think that set her up good to win over that middle of the road voter when it comes to November. Yeah.
And I agree with that. I think her approach as far as articulating what she wants to accomplish, I think it's there. I think she has the support. Holistically, I think her road into the White House is really going to come down to, are we as a country ready for a woman to lead? I still feel like that's going to be the impediment that I think.
That's never going away.
Yeah, I just think, and I think a lot of folks just, struggle with that.
It's a lot of black men are going to do that right there, go vote for Trump just because of that.
Or not vote at all, just because of that one situation. And I think that's the part that's, like, we call ourselves American. We are Americans, right? That's what sets us apart from other countries, is that we've taken risk and we've done the things that most countries maybe they don't do. And so this, if this is nothing else to me, like, we can't say women aren't fit to lead the country, but then what are we saying? They're not fit to be mothers. We're saying they're not fit to work in these companies. They're not fit to lead our children. I mean, it's tough to me, like, when we say certain things that are being said, like, you hear it, you see it, we see it all over. Obviously, we watch the media, they're building these cases, and I'm going, so then what are we saying? Yeah. Our girls aren't sharp enough as boys, or they can't. Other countries aren't going to respect a woman.
Really?
I don't think that has
Because
merit at all.
I think England didn't have no problem with Margaret Thatcher back in back when
Right.
she was running things.
The
I mean,
Queen.
it's silly. Every man sitting at this table right now has had a woman boss.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't think the world changed because of that. I mean, hell, probably my best boss was one of
by far.
the women that were in charge of me. One of the ladies I got some significant leadership qualities from. So it's ridiculous. Like I said, it's just something people are saying and an excuse to make a horrible choice. Has nothing to do with who that person is, them being a woman or a man.
Exactly.
It's if
funny.
like I tell people all the time, man. I say, look, man, where we went wrong in America and how we got here is we didn't elect Hillary. We should have elected her. Everything was pointed that way. She was capable of doing the job, and she was really lined up to do it. We didn't do it because of that reason. People went and didn't want to vote for her because she was a woman, and they didn't like her. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically what happened. But saying people who think like that, like they're not ready for a woman to be in charge in 2024, that's just, I don't know where they're getting that from. When you walk into your job, you got CEOs, hire people in the company that are women, been women, for the longest. That's a crazy argument.
Every other job in America, you have to be qualified to do the job. I mean,
Exactly.
Education. You have to have some background and some history. It's not because if money was the thing, how many people would buy their way into
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just that's my issue with putting someone in office again who doesn't have the background or is not qualified in the topics or the issues. Yelling and going on social. Yeah, that's just
Said
not.
that last week.
I will say this too. Like, I mean, Kamala has done. We talked about Kamala before and her accomplishments and why she's not a DEI hire. Is the video that we did. So check that out if you haven't. But at the end of the day, she has all of the qualifications to do the job. She's been vice president. The only job above that is president. So, damn, if she ain't qualified,
Who is?
Who is?
Right.
Okay, and to your point, it's sad that someone could go and say everything that they're going to do, have all the qualifications, go up there and articulate eloquently how the person is trying to help our country become a better place, help middle-class Americans. And at the end of the day, regardless of all the other things that have already been said, the only reason why somebody will not vote for that person is because of the genitalia between their damn legs.
Yeah.
Okay? That's the only reason. There ain't no other reason.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't agree with her policies, great. Understood. But if you say, I just can't have a woman in charge, that ain't acceptable no more.
I don't even argue with anybody who's not bringing logic from the standpoint of like doing their research and doing their homework and understanding, like, if you're not willing to take the time to understand what someone's doing, if and you're going on social rants and everything's about something that's just crazy, like it has nothing to even do with, which is all you see today. It's like that's all people do.
Yeah, when it's that time of the month, she might push the button.
And it's like, it's just wild stuff, man.
Crazy.
People are so vested. It goes back to
That's horrible.
it goes back to something I think most of us learned as kids, and I wish everyone would have learned this. Is like, what are you doing when people aren't looking?
Yeah.
What are the things that you're doing when there's not a social media camera or somebody's capturing? There's so many things that that
Exactly.
like that's just like, because at the end of the day, our presidents and our politicians aren't the ones that control everything that's happening within our communities. Like, we still play a part in that, and it goes to sum up everything. Like, we still own a big part and portion of that, and our alignment to our government and our politicians and the people that we put in the power is to make sure that their alignment is, again, going back to what I said, utilitarianism, their approach and how they're doing what's better for the greater good of society as a whole.
Yeah.
Not one segment of the population, not one demographic or any of those kind of things, one region within the map. It's who's going to make the best decisions for everybody holistically.
Yes.
And that's who we need to really align ourselves with and rally behind.
Yep.
And then from there, we still play a strong part within our communities in enforcing and making sure things are moving and operating accordingly.
Exactly.
And that's just how it has, that's the way it should be.